Hi, Bo from Football Boots at Karuke, and we're back on the review game to review the brand new Messi 15.1, the new Messi 15.1 boot style by Adidas. Now this boot is part of Adidas's hashtag Be The Difference collection of football boots consisting of the Ace, X and the new Messi Solo. Is this boot any better than previous Messi boots? We'll find out in this video. So design-wise, Adidas have given the boot a one-tone colour design, in this case a matte ice metallic colour which glimmers light in all directions for a modern look. The sky blue colour is designed to reflect Argentina's home colours of sky blue and white, and I'm not really a big fan of the sky blue colour, but that is just my opinion. So design-wise, it's just a one-tone design. I can see a couple of other colours coming in later on. So you've got sky blue, this matte ice sky blue colouring the whole boot. The new messiFRAME is a darker blue, touches of black on the sole, yellow colouring the tips, and yellow colours the Adidas logo on the tongue. The tip of the studs, as I said before, Messi logo on the heel, and on the sock liner it says Messi 15.1 built to win. Overall, I wasn't really excited about this colour when I first saw it, and in hand, same deal. I'm not a big fan of this colourway. Alright, I tried the first boot on just to see how it feels straight out of the box. Okay, if you've ever worn an F50 at a 0 by Adidas, it fits pretty much the same. I'm a player with exceedingly wide feet, and it isn't really great. It's super tight around the midfoot and the toe box. It is a 10.5 UK, it is true to size, so potentially if you're a player with wide feet, you can consider going half a size up, but lengthwise, I probably wouldn't suggest that because I've got a lot of room in the toe area, but around the midfoot and around the toe box, it's very, very tight. In terms of how soft the upper is, I'm actually impressed. The upper is, it's not as thin as what you'd see out of an F50 at a 0, but it is quite thin. It's got a couple layers under this top layer, which will help with protection and whatnot, but overall, impressions is that it is a narrow boot, and true to size is the way to go. If you've got narrow feet, if you're a player with wide feet, could consider going half a size up, but I probably wouldn't suggest that as I've got a lot of room in the toe box, which is not really needed. So I'll try the right boot on and just to see how it really feels on my other foot. Now it's funny, my right foot is actually larger than my left foot by half a size, and the effect of the narrow boot on this foot is a lot worse. As you can see, I'll point my toe, I've got a lot of room in the toe area. It's a very narrow boot. I thought it would be a bit wider than this, but I'm actually struggling to fit these boots, even though I'm going true to size. Now one of the standout features that I noticed is this new messiFRAME, which actually flicks up with the laces. It's got to lock my foot in place. My foot already feels locked in because I've got a wide foot, but it's just going to really help with locking my foot down in place for acceleration, traction, agility. It's going to be really good for that. I'm actually quite impressed. So I'll chuck these on and take these for a test run. So break-in wise, the boots use a soft upper material dubbed messiTOUCH, which is flexible, while the sole is quite stiff at the start, but it should loosen up over time. No major concerns with breaking these boots in. So I'll just take this boot off just to really show you this new messiTOUCH upper system. So the boot uses a upper called messiTOUCH, and in hand it feels very similar to the hybrid touch seen on the previous F50 at a 0, the 2015 edition. It combines the benefits of leather and synthetics in one, and half the boot is messiTOUCH, while the other half is a mesh synthetic system, making these boots more lightweight and durable. So essentially you've got messiTOUCH spanning the whole forefoot where you touch the ball, and from the midfoot to the heel is an additional mesh lightweight material. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the upper. It's not super thin, but it's not too thick. It's pretty much exactly what you want out of a synthetic upper. So weight-wise, considering this boot isn't a speed boot, it weighs 230 grams, which really sits in the middle between a heavy and a lightweight boot. The X is actually around 210 grams and the Ace is around 250 grams. So this puts this boot right in the middle between the two boots, which I feel is a great decision. The boot's upper isn't that thin and it has some thickness to it, which will help with protection, and the new messiFRAME system will add a bit of weight to it, as well as the new sole plate, which has an internal plate for extra stability. So quite noticeably, Adidas haven't given the NSG to this boot. They've used a special texture on top of the messiTOUCH system called X-ray surface, and it's designed to add a bit of texture between the boot and the ball for increased friction, helping you to control the boot in all weather conditions. But personally, just looking at it and feeling it with my hand, I don't really feel like it's going to do that much. The NSG on the X and the Ace is a sort of raised dotted technology, and I feel that's going to do a bit better in terms of controlling the ball in wet and dry conditions. This messiTOUCH X-ray system just doesn't really feel like it's going to do much at all. So like on a lot of speed boots you see these days, Adidas have given this new Messi 15.1 boot this messiFRAME, which is one of the most unique features I've ever seen in a football boot. It actually extends out when you actually tie the laces. So it extends out. It's a really rubberized, stretchy material. It's not stretchy, but it's just a bit stretchy. It's rubberized. It's just designed to lock your foot in place, better for agility, traction, and acceleration. But when I was wearing it, I really didn't feel that much. I have a wide foot, and it was quite tight in the midfoot already. So adding a messiFRAME didn't really change much, but that's just because I got wide feet, I guess. But overall, I presume it's a good feature. It's going to help with protection. It's going to help with locking down your foot in place. It's going to help with just good daily traction and agility. I think it is a good feature to have on the Messi 15.1. So Adidas have given the new Messi 15.1 a new sole plate system called GAMBETRAX. So messiGAMBETRAX is the name. I don't quite understand the name, but that is what it's called. It's essentially a mimic of what you saw in the 2014 F50 Adizero. The stud system, I'll bring it closer, actually has a couple of conical studs on the heel and a couple of conical studs on the toes. But the rest of them are that triangular shape you saw in that 2014 and 2015 F50 Adizero. A little unique touch with a little Messi stabilizing stud in the middle, but essentially the boot is designed for both firm ground and artificial ground surfaces, which I feel is like an improvement. Essentially you've got the same stud design as the 2014 F50, so you probably could have worn that on 3G pitches. But yeah, this can be worn on firm ground and artificial ground surfaces. Adidas have ensured that with the Ace, X and Messi solos. A definite positive to this new boot. So protection wise, considering this is not a speed boot and it's not a heavy leather boot, protection levels are relatively mid-range. I mean, the upper is thin, but it's not super thin, so it's going to provide a bit of protection in that messiTOUCH system. The messiFRAME will help with protection in the midfoot, and there's actually a small padded area on top of the tongue which will help to protect your foot in that vulnerable area of your foot. The sole plate is relatively stiff. It's got this new plate system. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a new plate, internal plate, just to give a bit more stability in the sole plate, but overall protection levels are very mid-range. So if you want to talk about durability, using a robust plate inside the boot and synthetic materials, expect the Messi range to be relatively durable. Maintenance wise, you may struggle to keep these boots clean, but they should do a good job. So maintenance wise, as you've seen our cleaning videos on our channel, cleaning mud under this new messiFRAME will be a bitch. Just to put it clearly, that will be the hardest part to clean out of any football boot ever. It's just a big crease inside the boot there. I don't think you can see it, but cleaning these boots will be a pain in the ass, to put it clearly. Sole plate, again, it's got all these little grooves inside. When the mud gets in there, it's going to be very hard to clean. You won't have to worry about it if you're wearing these on a 3G pitch, but if you're wearing them on firm grounds, like muddy pitches even, you're going to have trouble cleaning these boots. But overall, durability is good with these boots if you take care of them. So I'll just do a quick overview of the two recent Messi boots. This is the Messi 10.1, it's the messiSARIO edition. We've also got the Pibe de Barr10 one, but I've just got the messiSARIO one for comparison with the new Messi 15.1 boot. If you want to think about it as essentially the new Messi 15.1 as the successor to the 2.1, I really don't feel like there's any major changes. Yes, the messiFRAME is something which is out of the ordinary, but they're very similar in terms of width, how they fit, true to size. The upper on the messiSARIO is thinner than the Messi 15.1 boot, but not by much. And to be honest, if you look at the soles, they're very, very similar, almost exactly the same. Obviously no messiTOUCH in the new Messi 15.1, which is something Adidas have cut out. But overall, there isn't really a major difference between the two recent Messi boots. So my overall verdict on these new Messi 15.1 boots is a relatively good one. There are some pros and there are some cons, like any boot. The cons of this boot is that the sole plate is not really different from previous Messi models. It's a new evolution. They're trying to change things up. And I've used a sole which was seen 2 or 3 years ago. No, it's not that great. And the new messiFRAME, I feel like it will be a good feature if you're a player with narrow feet. But I'm a player with wide feet, and I really struggled to actually put these boots on with the messiFRAME adding on top of that. It wasn't great for my feet. It's not usually a boot I would choose. I'm more of a Tempo Legend fan. If I was going to choose a boot by Adidas, I'd definitely go with the Ace because it has a wider last. In terms of the good features to this boot, I'm a big fan of this new messiTOUCH system. I know it's essentially a copy of the Hybrid Touch, but it isn't super thin, and it isn't super thick. It's just going to provide a really good touch in all weather conditions. The X-ray surface I'm a bit dubious about. It's not really going to do much, but everything else I'm pretty pleased with. At times I feel like this boot can be a bit cheap. The sole actually looks a bit cheap, and inside the boots, the linings that I've used, it's just a bit cheap, on the cheap side for a pro level model boot. But overall, if I had to give this a rating out of 10, I'd probably go about 8, maybe 8.5. Considering the Ace and the X would be a 9 out of 10. I feel like this is the worst boot out of the new Adidas collection by Adidas Football. So yeah, that is my review of the new Messi 15.1. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel already. If we've got a channel trailer on our channel now, check that out if you haven't seen it already. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you later.